What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kind of Funny Screencast. I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the movie bros herself, Joey Noel.
Oh, that was really shocking to see
Thomas, I guess.
Jump.
The producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Top of the morning to everyone.
And I guess Kevin Coelho is joining us for this. I thought you told me last night you're not going to be part of it, but I'm happy to see you here. Are you going to be on the show? Oh, okay, cool. Well, here you are. Happy times for everybody. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Kind of Funny Screencast, one of our rare 4-person shows. That's fun. You can watch this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. You can also listen to it as a podcast on podcast services wherever you listen to your podcast by searching for Kind of Funny Screencast. We appreciate all your good reviews there. They definitely do go a very long way. If you want to support us otherwise, you can go to kindoffunny.com/store. We have some pretty dope shirts going on right now, including the PS I Love You shirt that is currently sold out because everyone loved it so much. But we put it in a new order. So make sure you go there, hit the remind me, email me, whatever it is button. And sooner than later, you will get your chance to buy that beautiful shirt. Today we're brought to you by Manscaped. We'll totally get to that later. First, I just want to ask, how are you guys doing?
I'm hanging in
The
there.
chat saying that Kevin's muted.
I was, now I'm not, and I'm fixing the problem in the little machine here.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
So
I'm hanging
in
in
the
there.
future, it would be fine. It will be fine.
Great.
Week 3.
Yeah, it's like week 5, aren't we? Are we into this?
I have no idea.
I feel like we've
What
been
is
sheltered in
time?
place
I don't
since the
know.
beginning of April.
Time has no
I think
meaning.
Or
it's-
beginning of March, rather.
I think Miller was saying it was a month.
Yeah, we're hitting.
It's been
Well,
a
for sure, because
month.
it was supposed to be. It was 3 weeks after we did it, and that was supposed to let up April 7th.
April 7th, yeah. So, yeah.
And so it's been
guess
so
it's
it's been a
April
few
7th.
days after that. So yeah,
2 days ago.
we're going into the month.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
just fucking crazy, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
there's just no sense of anything. Like, it's weird. I was talking to G about this. Like, with all of these shows, like, we cover news in a lot of the shows that we do, and it's just weird that there definitely is news now, mostly bad news of things get delayed, some good news of things getting put on services so that we can watch them. But I wonder if there's going to hit a point that there's just a large time period where there's just no news. Like, there is nothing to talk about.
I feel like the people take advantages of those moments, like that's when some companies like, well, there's nothing going on right now. We better make a statement about some project that we're excited about to get people hyped for that.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me though is that all of these companies somehow, even though production is like you're not supposed to be getting together to make commercials, every single company has made new commercials for the coronavirus. Like, hey man, we get you. You're stuck at home. Fucking go to Arby's. Arby's will deliver to you. Arby's doesn't.
We got
Arby's
it.
But
doesn't
aren't a
touch
lot of
anything
them just
for the
VO?
second. Yeah, I mean, obviously they just
Yeah.
took old footage from old commercials and put VO on them, but still, like, someone's out there, like, it just is amazing to me how quickly every company on the planet that usually, like, it has a physical location did a commercial
still
for,
alive.
hey, you know what? We don't touch. Arby's is not even going to touch your food. Arby's has a machine. It's a robot that comes out and takes your fucking beef rib sandwich or whatever and stuffs it in the oven. Like, the best is Roundtable. They're like, or Papa John's. Papa John's is like, once the pizza goes into our 470-degree oven, we don't touch it. It's just touched by air. I'm like, wow, okay, cool. I'm ordering some Papa John's.
Cool.
pretty impressive.
But what does surprise me though is, like, even though thinking there wouldn't be that much news, every time I start prepping news for Screencast, I'm like, oh yeah, there's just these like 2 stories, and the next thing I know, there's like 18 things, and I'm like, oh my god, that all did happen this week since the last Screencast. Like, there's a lot of moving going on. So I want to start off actually with some just movie updates in the vein of what's been going on. A lot of just delays, a lot of changes with some schedules. The Disney side of things saw a lot of shakeups this week. Moving Free Guy, which I didn't realize was a Disney movie, but I
Oh.
guess it was a Fox movie.
That
You
makes
know?
sense.
But Free Guy moved from July 3rd to December 11th. Are you familiar with Free Guy, Nick?
Not at all. I don't
The
even know what the
trailer
hell it
looks
is.
so bad.
It does not look good.
No.
It's the Ryan Reynolds video game movie where he's a NPC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually kind of looked. I thought the trailer was actually kind of funny looking ish.
Yeah, I remember being like, this looks horrible.
It's more Ryan Reynolds.
I definitely there was a slight thought of like, oh, Nick's gonna love this movie.
I do remember
It's very much
now.
in the vein of Daddy's Home, Daddy's Home.
Oh
Is that
no, that's
Well,
not.
it's like-
that's not
Put it with
good.
Yeah,
Daddy's Home. I would
exactly.
put it
That's exactly
definitely
right.
with like a Van Wilder or
Right.
something silly like that. I mean, it's
But
he's trying to
even
redo
with
more
like
of a Deadpool vibe.
Van Wilder that like fucked pixels, you know?
Sure,
No.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't like any.
Yeah,
of it.
I didn't get any vibes from any of those movies. Maybe Pixels, but I think that's just the video game related stuff. I don't know. I hope that it pleasantly surprises me, and the trailer was just not good. But we're gonna have to wait a much longer time to see it because that's December 11th now. And then Jungle Cruise got delayed an entire year. I don't know how we're gonna
Damn, that sucks.
be able to survive or live.
How will we live without another mediocre rock movie?
Hey,
But,
hey.
But it has Emily Blunt in it, and she's great.
Yeah, that's
phenomenal.
true. She might elevate it a little bit. Maybe she'll give us something to do while the Rock's smirking for 2.5
July.
hours.
So now you're against the Rock?
Why do you hate The Rock?
I've turned a corner on the Rock.
Have
I
you?
don't understand.
Or is it just right now?
I've turned it. No, I've just turned this weird corner where every Rock movie, just like I get about a half hour in, I'm like, I'm just so bored. I'm so bored with all these movies. Now he's made some decent, like some fun films. I just like The Rock more when he's in an ensemble group like Fast and Furious. When it's The Rock for like trying to redo Die Hard for 2 hours or on on the beach. Granted, I haven't watched the second Jungle Book or not Jungle
Jumanji.
Book, Jumanji. So I'll reserve my my Rock opinions for that. But the last couple Rock films I watched, I was very underwhelmed by. Rock, get your shit together.
Christ.
Stop making
Jumanji
tequila.
1 and 2 were fine.
July
Jumanji one was
24th,
fine.
2020 to July 30th, 2021 is the shift there. Yeah, and a lot of things kind of seeing that. Bob's Burgers, the movie, which is also a Disney movie now.
That's weird.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah, everything.
Damn, they own everything.
From July 17th this year to April 9th next year. And then not Disney stuff, but Paramount pushed back Top Gun Maverick to December 23rd this year from July. So it's not that far out. I expected that one to get punted a year. So
Is this a second push?
No, we talked about it last week.
okay, I wasn't on the show last week, so I don't know exactly what you guys covered, but
We just
That's
talked
right.
about the Paramount pushbacks. There was Top Gun and one other movie that Paramount's making that got pushed as well. The second time, I think it was A Quiet Place 2.
oh, that got an
Yeah.
official release date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just indefinite. But yeah, so that's kind of the Disney stuff. But really, the biggest Disney stuff is the MCU slate. So did you guys talk about this? I don't think so.
No.
On the
I think
show.
it broke
No,
after
no,
the
last
show.
year.
They pretty much announced the new lineup of dates for the MCU at Comic-Con last year. They kind of like announced the slate, assigning dates to each one of these. And obviously all of this might change because we don't know when all this is going to end. And Black Widow's now set to November 6th. And essentially every slot has been pushed back one. There's a couple exceptions there, but that's one of those things that we'll see if that sticks. If hopefully things are definitely, cross our fingers, hopefully they're better by November. But if they're not, you can imagine all this will definitely change. But
tell me in December we get Black Widow and Top Gun Maverick. I'm in.
well, yeah. So the crazy thing here is this would essentially turn the MCU, and we're going to hit a point where production kind of catches up in a weird way. But while there was going to be kind of like a couple month gap between like Black Widow and Eternals would have been May to November, and then it would start being we're getting new MCU every like 3 or 4 months. It's now going to be starting in November till the end of time. You have to imagine it'll be a max of 3 months between every MCU movie, and that's not even including the DisneyPlus stuff.
That's amazing.
That's
I'm okay
cool.
with this.
Because it would go now
Terrible
Black
outcome.
Widow November 6th. Eternals would move from November to February 12th. Shang-Chi would move from February 12th to May 7th. Doctor Strange would move from May 7th to November 5th. Thor: Love and Thunder would move from November 5th to February 2022. Then there's an Untitled Marvel movie that was previously dated for February 2022 that has just been removed from the schedule. So Thor took its place, but it's just gone now from being a separate movie. I'm sure they'll bring it back at some point. That was rumored to be Ant-Man 3 or Fantastic Four. But then Captain Marvel 2 is now going to take the place of the July 29th date, but they moved it to July 8th, 2022. The news there, Captain Marvel 2 is announced. We didn't actually officially know that. Kevin Feige just said that, of course, we're going to get a Captain Marvel 2, but now it's on the books. it's on the dockets. We kind of know the timeline, and I think there's two very interesting things here. Hold on, actually jumping back, there was a note that I made. The two that aren't on this list are Black Panther 2, which keeps its release date that it had of May 2022, and Spider-Man 3 has not had any announcement, but that's because Sony makes those announcements and those calls. But the thing that I think is most interesting about this list is the two things. One, seeing what shifted, and you can kind of get an idea of their storytelling, where it's like what movies are actually going to affect the others. Like Black Panther not moving, to me, really kind of shows that their Black Panther, Captain Marvel 2, and whatever's going on, like the 2022 slate is gearing up for some type of Avengers-y moment after that. So that's pretty cool and exciting. But the other thing is that I know we're in weird times, but this is kind of showing that Disney doesn't give a fuck about putting movies out. Like the summer blockbuster might just be destroyed because of all this Corona stuff. Like Eternals moving to a February slot is interesting because of what that means for the rest of it. Of, now Shang-Chi getting that summer slot next year.
That's exciting.
Like that, because like Shang-Chi originally was going to be a February movie, which is traditionally a bit more less.
It's reserved for the lesser characters, right?
Yeah,
that was like the bigger movies coming out around the blockbuster time. I'm sure they'll get back to that as soon as they possibly can, though, because they know those summer months are still pretty big hitters due to the high school kids or kids being out of school and just wanting to see movies constantly. But that's cool. It's cool that they're. It sounds like they're not canceling anything, which is good. They're just moving stuff around, which is great.
Yeah,
as opposed to DC, who I'm sure just probably is like, we're done. This is it. We quit. This was all we needed. This is a good out. They're just like, it's a good out. It's a good out.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
Go for it.
I was going to say just a random non sequitur, but like I saw one of those master classes and Bob Iger's teaching, and I thought about Bob Iger. I was like, where must his head be? Because if you recall, like a few months ago, he announced his retirement, but he's like, I'm going to stay on to help shepherd the next guy through like this unbelievable, like we're setting 2020 up to be this fucking awesome year. Do you think he's like, fuck, I should have just left. I should have just left in December. Clean out would have been the best run anyone's ever had of this company.
I think he's fine. I mean, he still had the best run, right? Like that doesn't go away. And like
he did, but now he's got to deal with all this shit. If he'd have just left in December, he'd have been like Obama right now going to like basketball. Well, he's not going to any basketball games right now, but like you see Obama and he's like jet skiing in the Bahamas and he's like, fuck it. I did my shit. It was awesome. 8 years, good. Everyone can suck it.
I don't think Obama's thinking any of that.
Obama is like, if you see Obama right now, he's just in leisure wear, man. He looks so fucking good. And he is so happy not to be president anymore. I'll tell you that right now.
But anyways, I'm very happy that the MCU slate seems intact. Even I'll bet pushed back a bit, but I'm happy that the Vision's still there. And speaking of the Vision, I think that WandaVision's going to get, and this is just me totally guessing, but I imagine that we might see that before Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because all the rumors point to that being further along in production and editing and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they'd make a push to have Falcon and Winter Soldier come out after Black Widow, maybe early 2021 or something like that. But
interesting.
Keep our eyes on that. More little nuggets here from the MCU stuff. IO9 always does a good thing called morning spoilers that just kind of like is a bunch of little nuggets of like random news and stuff, and I always enjoy looking at it. So some fun stuff here is James Gunn did a quarantine watch party, watch along of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was actually really fucking cool. I was telling Joey about it. There's a comicbook.com. There's this dude that works there that has just been doing watch parties of different movies. And he keeps tweeting at different directors and trying to get people to be a part of it. He's gotten some pretty cool people, but he just tweeted at James Gunn. He's like, hey, we're going to watch Guardians tonight. Are you in? And James Gunn was just like, yeah, what time? And he was like, oh, fuck.
That's so cool.
Like 8 p.m., whatever. And he was like, all I got to do is just watch and tweet along. He's like, yeah. And then James Gunn fucking did it, which is
awesome.
Super rad.
So it wasn't like
really cool.
a call. Like he was just tweeting?
Just tweeting with the hashtag quarantine watch party.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah,
I want them to do that for Slither. A couple weeks ago, they had like Slither's, like I think it was like 14th or 15th anniversary or something like that, and it reminded me how much I want to go back and watch that movie.
It's a good movie.
I don't know if I've seen Slither.
Oh,
Tim,
dude,
you'd
you'd
like
love
it a
it.
lot. Yeah.
It's like a campy, like not tongue in cheek. It's a campy kind of horror comedy.
Oh,
with
I have
Nathan
not seen
Fillion.
this. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
James Gunn's Slither.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
his,
yeah.
his very first movie, and it was one of those where you watch it, and you go, "This is such a fun vibe," and it elevates that sort of like gory horror sci-fi movie. And like, this guy's got something. Maybe 15 years from now, he'll get Guardians of the Galaxy and then get kicked out of it, and then be brought back.
Yeah, wow, what foresight young Nick must have had.
I just,
thinking all of that.
I just, I can see market trends.
my
I can just
gosh.
see market trends.
Anyway, some fun stuff that came from this is nothing mind blowing, but just this is cool. Talking about Rocket and kind of like hinting at some Guardians of the Galaxy 3 stuff. He just says, so someone asked him, is Rocket's origin going to be part of Volume 3? And he says, I'll just say Rocket is a big part of what's happening in the future, and lots of this stuff, like the scars we're about to see on his back. He was watching the movie. Sets up what I've been planning for Rocket all along. Part of the cybernetics apparently painfully placed in his body. One of my favorite moments in the movie. Rocket's loneliness and disaffection is at the center of the franchise for me. So cool stuff to kind of, again, not much news there. I just think it's cool.
Yeah,
it's just
I
cool.
feel like we've gotten a good emphasis on Rocket in like the second movie, and we even got a little bit of a glimpse of it in the first movie. And to get like a deeper dive in him on the third movie, like I really hope they go a lot deeper. And he's such a weirdly sympathetic character that like he has definitely in both movie moments where you kind of like feel bad for him, and you're like, what is going on with this little guy?
I watched, I live my life just rewatching parts of Endgame, but I decided I was going to watch some different parts this week. And so I went back and watched like the intro to the time heist where Cap's giving the fucking speech. It's so goddamn good. But when they're all standing around the little portal that's about to suck them in, and you just see them all, and it's just Rocket's tiny ass just there putting his little fist up. It's so good. And like, what a world they created where it's like that is just not only believable, you're just like, let's
It's
fucking
cool.
go.
I know. I love.
Yeah,
I
it's
love.
cool.
There was a clip going around that was, people were retweeting. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but it was like the audience reaction to the Captain America holding the Thor hammer, and that put me down a rabbit hole of like all of a sudden someone else replied with the audience reaction of when Thor landed in Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking that terrible CG, but it still works where the Hulkbuster opens up and Banner's like, "Oh, you guys are screwed now," and he just starts fucking
That
wrecking
does
shop.
not work. I hate that scene so much.
Fucking
I love that scene.
think
I
it's
just,
fun.
that one moment, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh god, why would they do that with that? Why did they? Could spend like 10 more bucks. And
It
just
was
put him in
a
the suit.
last minute
10 more
decision
bucks.
that they took out the Smart Hulk from that movie. They were like, "Oh, we'll save it for the next movie."
So
That was a good call.
the next thing is the Purge 5. Little tidbit here. Recent Hollywood Reporter interview with Jason Blum appears that the Purge 5 is now called the Forever Purge. How's that make you feel, Joe?
I don't know what that means, but I'm excited. Has anyone else here watched these?
I haven't seen any of them.
I've seen
That's what we should do.
one or two of them. I can't remember, but
The first
So
one was Ethan
the
Hawke,
first
right?
one is like
yeah,
pretty like enclosed within one house.
right.
And then the second one goes a little bit more into like what's happening in the city.
I can't remember if I've seen the second. Maybe we started watching the second one.
I think-
but, like the first one was pretty cool because it's
Yeah,
it's
I think
just
1
that
and 2 are
house.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Have you
3
seen
and
the rest
4.
of them?
Yeah. 3, I think 3 does a really cool like world building, kind of so you understand what's happening on like a
is
bigger
3
level.
Is 3 the first Purge?
No, that's 4.
Oh, What was
3 is
called?
election year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I assume that just means that they are just expanding it and taking it they want to make it like a global thing, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
I would
the plot
imagine
line.
though, like they're just gonna switch over to Purge world every day. You know, no more rules. Anarchy rules
That's true.
everything.
I feel like the Forever Purge is kind of what happens after I eat Chipotle for the 3rd day in a row.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
God, your poor wife.
More little nuggets here. The next M. Night Shyamalan movie has been removed entirely from Universal's schedule, so that kind of sucks.
Did we know anything about it?
No, we just knew it was a thriller.
That is the best twist of all. Movie's not even coming out. We'll never know what the twist was.
I feel like with what came out before Split, it was
Before
The
Split,
Visit?
Unbreakable.
The Visit. Yeah, with the Visit I enjoyed. Split was cool. Then his third movie, their Glass, didn't like so much.
I
Yeah, I
never
didn't like
watched
it, too.
Glass.
He's very hit or miss.
I didn't like it so much, but like it was fine. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. It wasn't nearly as good.
I think it's bad. Like the introduction of a secret society that like we get no more information. It just seems like a very much Deus Ex kind of Machina thing that they threw in there. No, it's just Deus Ex, right? What's the phrase?
It's Deus Ex and then Ex Machina.
Yeah, Ex Machina is the game that Nick likes so much.
It was a great game.
No,
Deus Ex
Ex Machina is the movie.
Oh,
I think the whole phrase is, Deus Ex Machina, right? No.
Yeah.
the act of machine of God or something, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys know what I meant, where it's like, hey, it's really convenient that the secret society came out of nowhere that like is hiding all this stuff.
Yeah. And then here's some just, again, non-news, but bad news for me and Kev Dog. In a conversation with Collider, Christoph Waltz said he hasn't heard anything about a sequel to Alita Battle Angel. He says, I'm as wise as you are. I haven't heard anything, and I'm a little disappointed and surprised that I haven't heard things so far because I know that it has followers. I know that people liked it, and aside from what others said, I loved it, and I liked working on it, and I really liked the result. It was Fox, and Fox doesn't exist anymore. Now it's Disney. Maybe it doesn't fit into Disney's plans. I have no clue. I have no idea. Maybe they're working on something, and I wouldn't be the first person to hear it, but meanwhile, I'm just letting you know I haven't heard anything.
Damn.
Thanks, Christoph.
That's really exciting that he like is speaking positively about it because he's a real fucking actor,
Yeah,
he's in a movie
dude.
and like he even when a movie's bad, like he's like a shining part of it, most of the time. So hearing him speak positively of the movie is really exciting because you and I we very much enjoyed it and want sequels. So this doesn't necessarily mean anything though.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I really hope that this keeps the conversation going and we get a sequel.
I was actually pleasantly surprised when I watched that movie. I thought I was going to absolutely hate it and turn it off after 5 minutes. And I found myself, I watched the whole thing and I was like, okay, I see this world they're trying to build. It's a little less intense than I would have liked it to have been. I wish they could have made it like an R-rated movie. I think that would have been cool, but it worked and it was fun to watch. And I sympathized with the character, even though she had those like weird ass big eyes. So yeah, I would see a sequel to this as well, especially given that it kind of ends on that cliffhanger.
Yeah. And then the next thing,
introduce a new character played by Oscar-winning Edward Norton, right?
Ed Norton's just like, I've been the bad guy the whole time, and I was like, really?
Cool.
But you can't even really tell it's him because he's wearing glasses, and it's
I can see spot Ed Norton in the fucking crowd from a mile away. I'm like, that's
gosh.
Ed Norton right there at that Chipotle.
God, you're on a Chipotle kick today.
I think I went, you know why? Because I went over to Target to get Kevin a peep, and I waited for 45 minutes to get in, and then they were like, we don't have any more peeps, and I was like, Kevin's not gonna believe
These guys at Target must be like, so everyone's going to Target, and it's like fucking chaos and the tape all over the floors and everything, and it's just like toilet paper's out, all the shit's out, and then they're like, why is this guy buying all our fucking peeps?
I've been slowly bleeding the Target on Gary and Masonic out of their peeps for the last 4 weeks, and so imagine this. They have the tapes obviously like 6 feet apart, right? It's like person in mask, person in full blown apocalypse like hazmat suit, me with just sunglasses on and really faded camo joggers, and then everyone else behind me. I'm just waiting to get into this thing, and meanwhile everyone's like making a run. They're like asking for toilet paper or whatever, and I'm like this. Listen, hey buddy, come here. And the guy's like stressed out. I was like, do you have any more of those peeps left? Not. And I'm like, let me preface, not the candy. I want the peep pillow. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I went to where they normally were, and I was like, did I just wait 45 minutes to get into this Target? And then I started getting anxiety because I was like, Kevin is not going to believe me. That he's going to think I totally just bitched out on it and not fucking go.
Thought that,
I was going to be like, oh, the line was too long. I couldn't get in. Then I got in. I was like, oh, he's never going to believe me. So I'm scouring all of it. Finally, I figured out that they moved the last 4 peeps over to this one little area, and I was able to get one. Not the color he wanted, but I got him a pink peep. Thank God.
I love it.
I like that too.
Did it take an extra hour and a half to do? Did I need to do that? No. Should have watched Transformers instead. But
were you dying to get out of the house?
Well, it's so funny because Target has become the place where, like, once you get in, they can't stop you from just hanging out. I just hung out in the peeps aisle for like 20 minutes trying to pick the peep that had the
You really are the worst of us, Nick. Jesus. So this one is this news story is a big surprise, I would say. There's a hit show, the best show on the internet, some would say, KFAF.
Yeah.
That once made a parody of the Space Force, which is The Office in space, essentially. The new Steve Carell thing, and it's fucking happening now. Like,
I know, I'm excited.
Somehow, let's see.
Wait, what does that mean? Like, is it coming out soon?
Yeah,
End of
very,
April.
very, very soon. May 29th will be the series premiere on Netflix.
That's
of this
crazy.
show.
That's very exciting.
Well, beforehand, the only thing we had gotten was just a teaser
Title
trailer that
screen,
was just
right?
like space, right? It was
Yeah.
like Earth floating in space.
So the plot per Netflix is a decorated pilot with dreams of running the Air Force, 4-star General Mark R. Naird, Steve Carell, is thrown for a loop when he finds himself tapped to lead the newly formed 6th branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, Space Force. Skeptical but dedicated, Mark uproots his family and moves to a remote base in Colorado, where he and a colorful team of scientists and spacemen are tasked by the White House with getting American boots on the moon, again, in a hurry and achieving total space dominance. So
love
this
this.
Pulled up some
this is gonna be
images.
something. They
This
then
sounds
Yeah.
great.
they announced the entire cast, and it's a fucking banger. You
Oh shit! It's
guys.
got
Give it-
the what's his name? The guy
Jin
you
Yang.
hated from Jin Yang.
It does have Jin Yang. It has Ben
he's fucking
Schwartz,
goat. He's the
John
goat.
Love it.
Malkovich, Diana Silvers, Tawny Newsome, Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
this is gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
John Malkovich is awesome in Billions, by the way.
Oh,
You guys should watch
no.
that show. You know what this reminds me of? Has anyone watched that HBO show with the dude from House about like the spaceship with
I saw
Josh
an
Gad?
episode. I saw an
Is it
episode
funny?
of it.
It looks terrible.
Avenue 5.
Yeah.
It looks
Oh.
terrible.
It
How,
is-
was it
Yeah.
good?
Terrible.
Okay,
like
yeah. It is what
it's
it looks like,
fucking
right?
Yeah, but like somehow it's worse. Like I remember seeing the trailer for it and thinking it was a joke. That I thought that it was like a fake trailer,
Mhm.
Right.
but no. Then the reason I watched it was because I didn't believe there was a real episode.
Because it looks
like-
like a Funny or Die sketch.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you know, it looks like they were trying to ape the Veep vibe.
Mhm.
If you ever watched Veep, it's one of my all-time favorite HBO shows. It's so fucking unbelievably biting and inappropriate. But it looks like the producers of that, because I think it's Mike Judd or Judge. No, Judd. Who did Beavis and Butthead? Mike Judd,
Like
right?
Judd.
I think it's him
My God.
doing this.
Judge.
So it's this.
It's Judge. Yeah.
Judge. So it's the. I think
Is
it's
it
him,
not
'cause I-
Ricky Gervais?
Is it Ricky? Who the fuck did this?
No, it doesn't seem like.
Mike Judge did Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
I
but
thought for
feel
some
like,
reason
Did he
Ricky
really?
Gervais was tied to one of these.
Yeah.
Space show.
Yeah, I think
What's it
actually
called?
I watched the first episode too, and it was just like it's one of those things where it's just like it feels like the director went in and was like, "Hey, you guys, several of you guys are real actors. Don't bring any of that. Just have fun, and we're gonna use the first take of everything."
Yeah, this is legitimately not Mike Judge. I have no idea what.
No, its creator is Armando
Iannucci.
Iannucci.
Iannucci. That's weird.
Iannucci?
Yeah, the show, it's sad because it has an amazing cast. Like, it's got Jared from
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley. It's got the dude from House. Who's why can't I
Oh,
remember his fucking name?
that-
Hugh Laurie, Josh Gad, who I don't necessarily love. And like I saw that, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. And then every clip they played for it, I'm like, that wasn't funny. That was the clip
yeah.
you picked for this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully,
Uh,
Space Force will be hilarious.
Nick, the director of it has directed 9 episodes of Veep.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
you can tell
that's
the
why.
same style.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for Space Force.
Yeah, I really am.
Me too.
So moving on, Disney Plus passes more than 50 million paid subscribers, which is crazy. We all kind of expected it to be successful. It's successful. These trying times gonna make it more successful. That's just how this all works. For some comparison here, Netflix, which started streaming in 2007, has 160 million paid subscribers
wow.
worldwide. So yeah,
Damn.
still a lot more, but Disney Plus gonna gaining that ground.
Nipping at their heels.
Disney Plus also, one thing to note, is significantly cheaper, right? Even the cheapest, or Disney Plus has one rate, and it is at the cheapest rate of the Netflix one. So there is going to be some differences there.
Then Amazon Prime is at 150 million paid subscribers, but that also is a little weird because it's not just Amazon Prime
Right.
Video.
Right. I was going to say,
all the services.
how many of those 150 million subscribers know that they have Amazon Prime Video?
I feel
You
like
know,
over the
Like
last year and a half, Amazon Prime has been like doing a really like decent attempt at trying to notify the people with Prime. Like, because whenever I go to order something, like every once in a while, I'll get a screen that's like, "Hey, remember you have videos? You can watch them for free. Click here."
It's true. And I mean, I love Amazon Prime because I just like going through all the old movies than just seeing what I can watch for free. And I do think they actually have some really, really good shows. Obviously, Marvelous Miss Maisel and Bosch. I know no one watches Bosch, but like that is one of my favorite detective shows that's been made in the last like 10 years. I think and season 6 is coming. So if you guys want to start now, it's really good.
It's a lot of seasons to catch up on.
Also, they have but I think it's only like 6 episodes because it's like they're based on books.
Are they like hour-long episodes?
Yeah, they're good though. Kev, you would like it. I think
I would, but
what's the pitch on it?
Is it American?
Yeah, it's
detective.
Yeah, it's American. Yeah, it's American. It's based on a book series, and it's the guy that plays Titus Welliker, I think is the main character's name. It doesn't have a lot of like real like notable actors in it, but it's just based on a book series about a detective in LA. That like the first one is like he's going after a serial killer, but it has to do with like the politics of like the chief of police hates him, and he's kind of like he's just a good guy, but he's also just kind of fucked up.
What's the name of the show you always talked about that was a bridge?
Which one?
Like the show was like there was a murder that took place on a bridge.
Oh, The Bridge, I think is what it was called.
Oh,
I never watched that show.
That's so funny.
That was what my wife watched because she likes both. It was like the bridge between Denmark and Switzerland, or not Switzerland. What's the other one? Sweden.
It was like every single time you've talked about Bosch, I thought it was about this bridge show.
No. Bosch is like,
and I was like, wow,
Bosch
5 seasons about this murder.
Bosch is
on
a really cool, like noir, like modern noir LA detective show. It's very, very cool. He's police detective. I shouldn't say detective.
This guy's got a lot of tattoos on him.
He's bad.
So speaking of this type of show, I don't know if you guys talked about this last week, so let me know. But Christopher Maloney as SVU character Elliot Stabler.
We didn't because it came, I think, as we were. My wife literally texted me as we were doing the show last week, and we were like wrapping up. Otherwise, we would have talked about this. But I wanted to be up to speed on it. Tim, tell the people what we have in store for us.
Christopher Maloney is returning as Elliot Stabler in a new Dick Wolf drama series for NBC, the SVU spinoff drama, which marks the actor's return to WOLFEWorld, is what they're calling it. Revolves around the NYPD organized crime unit led by Stabler. It is the first show to come out of the massive new 5-year, 9-figure multi-platform deal Wolf signed with Universal Television last month, which includes multiple series commitments. The new series, which could be branded as part of the Law & Order franchise, is executive produced by Wolf. Let me see if there's any other interesting stuff here. Not really. That's all that we really know about it. But
this is crazy because this, I think, marks the first time there's been a spinoff of a character from a Law and Order franchise that's like it just follows him. So I wonder what the format will be, because all 5,000 episodes of Law and Order have essentially, I mean, SVU follows the cops a little bit more than the traditional Law and Order, as does Criminal Intent. But I mean, it's still them trying to get people. It's still like you still see the court cases and stuff like that. So I wonder, like, their personal lives have always sort of taken a backseat to the format of the show. So I wonder how this is going to play out.
I just wanted to say really quick, I was writing the headline for this, or for the time code, and I had to make it up on my own, and it's my favorite time code I think I've ever written down, where it's Stabler is back in WOLFEWorld.
That's cool. that sounds like a book series that would get made into an amazing HBO series, and none of us would read the book, but we would love the HBO series.
I'm pretty stoked about this. I'll definitely watch it, and Gia will fall asleep to it every night.
Does Gia love SVU as much as Danielle loves SVU?
I can't imagine someone falling asleep to SVU more than Gia does. It is also
good show.
It's a weird show to love as much as like people like I also love SVU, but like it's so fucked up, you know?
I'm a fan of the OG Law and Order as well, I have literally never sat down and watched all of them from start to completion, because I don't even know if you can, like, on streaming services.
I don't think any human being has.
I don't think you can.
But I swear to God, I shit you not, guys, every single time there is an episode on TV and I click to it, I've seen it. I have never encountered an episode of Law and Order, with the exception of Criminal Intent, because I didn't watch a lot of those. But now I've started watching those too. I'm like, I've seen this. How the fuck do I know? How have I seen this? At what point? I think it's just always on in the background.
It's hit a point that I think I've seen every SVU episode now. Yeah, except for the new ones, because there are new ones that do come out.
I know. They're still making them.
Yeah.
They've canceled the show yet. I think,
well, they've canceled
is like the president of the United States in this show now.
Haven't they canceled the original?
Did they? Is it finally
Law
done?
and Order just
the original Law and Order's gone. Yeah. Because that was, I think, that got canceled. They didn't get canceled. Got kind of sunsetted. They were just like, we can't do the show anymore. But Criminal Intent and SVU, I think Criminal Intent's done too, but I think SVU is still going.
SVU just got renewed for like 3 seasons.
Oh, it's good, Joey. You'd like it. SVU.
I see. I'm on the Criminal Minds train. So
Criminal
which
Minds
I
is
feel
good.
like also in
sorry.
that same vibe.
Criminal Intent's good. Criminal Minds Criminal Minds is a lot more like I want to say, well, I guess they're pretty much they're similar, but it's a lot more like a what's that other show with fucking
Blue
that happened
Bloods.
in Las Vegas? No, the one that's
CSI.
CSI. It's a lot. Criminal Minds is a lot more CSI. Whereas like Law and Order they usually do like, we caught the person, now we have to try the person. And that's always fascinating to see.
Oh, versus the like,
works.
this thing is happening and we have to catch the person.
Yeah, like what I love most about the original Law and Order was that like the detectives would only be in it for the first like part of it, and then they would have to maybe come back. They'd bring them back to like testify. But it was just the first half was finding the people, and then it got kicked over to the DA, and then it was that like politics of trying to get this person tried. Do they cut a deal? Do they lose? And sometimes they lost, which is always fascinating. Like the guy would walk and you're like, God damn, we knew he did it, but it's crazy.
Just get through the rest of the news a little quick here. They're doing a new Doogie Howser reboot series on DisneyPlus.
Is Neil Patrick Harris in it? Because I'd like to believe
no word yet. No word yet. They're also doing a Frozen digital series on DisneyPlus that's starting like now that you can watch, called At Home with Olaf. So they're doing that for the kids. And then Bob Iger kind of had some choice quotes talking about that Artemis Fowl might not be or will not be the last Disney movie that gets put onto streaming services, and skipping a theater debut, but not to expect any of the major ones too, including Mulan, Black Widow, or etc.
I don't think we've talked about that on Screencast, and I think that's kind of a big deal, right?
Oh, Artemis Fowl? You guys didn't talk about that last week?
No, because that happened, I believe, this
Friday?
last weekend.
God, time is insane right now. But
it's
Artemis
weird.
Fowl, huge deal. One of the big Disney kid movies that was going to come out later this year is now coming straight to streaming services. And I was reading
the one with Colin Farrell.
Yes. I was reading an interesting interview about it that they were saying that this is actually probably best for this movie, where they weren't expecting it to kill at the box office anyways after the failure of A Wrinkle in Time. And they're saying that they were seeing trends that Disney's audience has changed so much in the last couple of years that people kind of expect known franchises over these kind of like kid movies that back in the day would have been the bread and butter. Now, if it's not Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, or Walt Disney Animated Studios, there's just not an association and drive for families to take their kids to see these new IP.
Well,
it's interesting though, because Artemis Fowl is a pretty popular book series, right?
I think it was a pretty popular book series like 15 years ago. Right?
Yeah, everyone's chasing that Harry Potter train though, man.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to watch the times change, because Harry Potter struck just at the right time before all of the before all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff kicked up. All we had was X-Men, and we were like, this is just, we don't need this. Thank God.
Well, speaking of X-Men real quick, these are just super rumors, but there is rumors that Disney Plus is going to have a X-Men animated series season 7 or whatever it is.
No fucking way.
Wait, the original, like the 90s one, or the 90s one? That would be
That's crazy.
awesome.
As fuck.
A lot of this unsubstantiated stuff, but it is kind of, the creators have been hinting at things here and there, but it's backed up with like weird stuff. Like recently Disney Plus added new the Avatar icons, and it was all the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Dude, that would be awesome.
It's like, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's a bizarre choice when you look at what the avatars are and what they've added over time.
They have to keep that same terrible style of animation where it's way too intricate to actually do all the frames. Morph.
Curran just rewatched the entire series, and he was like, "Don't ever do that."
No, bullshit. I rewatched the
They
entire
do not hold up. There's no continuity at all.
That's
and
not-
he's like, not only
100%
does Disney
disagree
Plus
with
put
this.
them in the wrong order, but he's just like, there's so many character developments that they just fucking throw out, and he's like, it sucks because you can see the hints of things being so good, and then you can tell when different members of the crew or whatever like stopped working on the project, or when the budgets just weren't there to tell the stories they needed.
I think that's more likely what happened, because they had some interesting story arcs. Like to back up. I like that series.
Yeah.
we all like it.
I rewatched the series maybe like 4 years ago, and I remember being shocked at how like intricate the overall like arching stories are, and I remember it being like it holding up way better than I thought it would.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I tried watching season 1 when Disney Plus first started. I made it like halfway. I was like, I can't.
Really?
Like this is
Wild.
is not.
It
like,
could
it's
be
great in my mind,
Yeah.
but
Well, it was always
watching
cool.
this.
It was always cool because they would do like when they did the Cable arc where it started in the future and it was this horrible post-apocalyptic future.
So rad.
And I guess not the Cable arc. I guess it would have been the Apocalypse arc. But I always just remember watching that when I was a kid and being like, "This is pretty serious for like a Saturday morning cartoon," and I loved it. I went back and watched it probably about 5 years ago, and I remember liking it. That and I forced my way through the Silver Surfer cartoon season. I think it was only one season, but it was cool. It's just a trip.
Did she like it?
What's that?
Did she like it? Your wife?
Oh, she didn't watch that shit.
I think you just said you forced her.
No, I forced my way through.
Oh.
Through the Silver. You've ever met my wife?
Christ, can you imagine D watching the Silver Surfer?
No, that's why I
cartoon?
was so shocked. Or it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
Nick sitting down and being like, "Hey, we
17
really have to
seconds.
watch this."
No, but like Silver Surfer is another example of like they just literally took those like not necessarily kid themed comic books and turned them into the show, because Silver Surfer follows like Silver Surfer as he becomes the Herald of Galactus, and they just kill planets, and he has to like basically make, it's the old school Silver Surfer story where he's like, I have to make a deal, like I'll become your herald as long as you leave my planet alone, but that means I get to go kill billions and billions of other people on these other planets, even though he tries to like steer him toward non-habited planets. It's pretty crazy.
He needs.
I talked about this
energy.
on some show before. I don't who the fuck knows what it was with how much shit we put out, but there's a fascinating like YouTube documentary. It's like I think it was like an hour long like video essay type thing of somebody that like you can find it just by looking for, I think, just Fox superhero MCU or something like that, and you'll see it. But it was breaking down all of the different Marvel properties, like the cartoons they put out, Spider-Man and X-Men, but also getting into Silver Surfer, Spider-Man Unlimited, Fantastic Four, like Iron Man, like all these cartoons that happened. And how they actually did connect in a lot of interesting ways, or why certain ones didn't. Fascinating stuff. Recommend.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think there's an episode of Spider-Man where they go, like, I always loved those, where he goes to the X-Men mansion, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
mean, towards the end of the series, like they're all just kind of fucking together.
Yeah, it's really really cool. I also watched that video. I was trying to find it, I couldn't find it, but the deep dive of like they were just given free reign, and they were successful enough where they were like, maybe we'll do an Iron Man thing that's actually connected, and they did it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Then two more stories here. The Dave Bautista movie, My Spy, that we've seen trailers for I feel like 10 years, is not going to hit theaters. It is going to go to Amazon Prime Video. So
Interesting.
If it's anything like Stuber, that's totally fine.
Was Stuber
it
not
looks-
great?
Stuber was fine, but it's definitely one of those movies where I'm like, I'm not watching it. I think I watched it on a plane, and I think I caught it halfway through because it was one of those planes where it was like, we're just going to play the movie and you have to watch while we play it. I'm like, what is this, the fucking 90s?
Yeah.
I hate that shit, man. And then the final news story here is just a new update on the AMC theater line. The new quote is, "We do not believe AMC has sufficient sources of liquidity to cover its expected negative cash flows past midsummer, and we believe the company will likely breach its 6 times net senior secured leverage covenant when tested, blah, blah, blah," essentially saying that there is a good chance that AMC theaters may never recover and shut down for good if this lasts long enough. So that is a fucking
Long live
bummer.
Regal. Long live
I mean,
Regal.
No.
If AMC's not going to last,
For
Regal ain't
century.
going to last.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it
AMC
was
is the biggest and the baddest, right? So you have to assume AMC has the biggest operating costs because they have the most real estate. Whereas maybe hopefully some of the mid-tier or smaller theaters will be like, oh, cool, we can exist still.
Dude,
Like think about the Metreon, right? Like how much more expensive is it to rent the Metreon real estate than probably even the Century City theater that are right across the way?
Yeah.
Top floor, nobody even knows it exists. It's where it's where the homeless people go to sleep.
Good lord. Good fucking lord.
That's true. Not true.
The truth. It's true.
It isn't. They're just saying that.
Every move I go to, there's a homeless person sleeping in the theater.
Oh, I mean that's any building in the city.
Yeah, especially. Exactly.
Especially, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode's brought to you by Manscaped. We've all been there, man. It's all been different situations, right? I remember it being, let's stick with the theater theme. Me being an 11-year-old boy, me wanting to go watch Too Fast, Too Furious with all of my friends. And I was just like, look, there's a group of about 11 of us. We're going to go to this theater. And there's no reason that I should think that somebody might see or touch my wiener. But I had that thought. So I was like, I need to Manscape. I need to be prepared for this moment in case it happens. And guess what, guys? It didn't end well. Not only did nobody see or touch my wiener, I also nicked and snagged my nuts as I was trying to Manscape and clean them. And it horrified me. And it was a very bad experience. But I learned in my years how to do things correctly, and one of those correct ways is Manscaped. Manscaped has the Lawnmower 3.0 to make sure that you can watch Too Fast, Too Furious with nice, clean balls and maybe have better chances than me. I had somebody else enjoy those things and how clean and smooth they can be. The third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick free. Always makes me laugh. Thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin safe technology. Subscribers get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer always stays fresh and clean. And for a limited time, subscribers get not one, but 2 free gifts. The Shed Travel Bag, it's a $39 value, and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxer Briefs. So there you go. You got the whole thing ready for making sure your balls are looking good, just in case. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code MORNING at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with code MORNING at manscaped.com. Most people are loading up on toilet paper. You can load it up on making sure that your balls are looking fancy. You, your partner, your body, and your balls will thank you. 20% off, free shipping with the code MORNING at manscaped.com. Let's get into what we've been watching. I want to start this off real quick.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Does anybody here care about Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, I like it.
Did you see? I think it just broke, but everything's available for streaming now, the whole series.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's cool.
It was on, I want to say it was
Tim.
on Amazon Prime or Netflix for a long time.
Wait,
I tried to get my
original
wife to watch it.
series or
She
the
was
second
not.
series?
The second series. The original series is difficult to watch.
But yeah, they just launched it on the sci-fi site.
That's
And
pretty
you don't
cool.
need like a subscription or anything.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see Tim's reaction if you have to sit through. You have to like it's one of those you have to really get into it.
Yeah.
The show is so cheaply made that it's hard to look beyond the production and a lot of the acting in the very first couple seasons. But it's such a cool concept and such an accomplishment by Ronald Moore.
It sounds dope, but yeah, I don't know that I have the patience to go through it all.
What's really funny is like the cheap set kind of plays into like the story of it, where it's like this is like one of the old ships that is about to get the Battlestar Galactica is about to get decommissioned, and it's like they're all analog, so all like the phones and all the technology is super old looking, and everything just looks really janky, but it's part of the story.
Yeah, because the idea was that like they fought machines and machines had AI that could like invade the systems of the ships, so they had to make these hyper advanced ships analog basically. So everything is like a standalone system that can't be hacked, and it's pretty funny. But there's also another little fun thing if you ever watch it. All the paper has the corners cut off, and that's like evidently, I don't know if I'm right about this, but I read a piece of trivia that said when someone asked one of the producers why they did that, because they were like, well, we cut corners on every single thing else, so we thought, why not just cut the corners off the paper?
That's pretty funny.
I was like, that's pretty hilarious.
It's a good bit.
So a movie that I watched this last week that I have been wanting to see for a very long time, and I'm upset that I waited this long, is Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, what did you think?
Yes.
Have you seen it, Nick?
I did, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. It didn't work as well for me as I thought it was going to.
Really?
It didn't grab me. I wanted it. It's so. I think the reason was because I was going through a little bit of a Wes Anderson kick at the time, and I went into that thinking it was going to be like a Wes Anderson movie. And Wes Anderson always makes these really kind of silly, almost cartoonish, fable-ish movies that are like very, very fun, like well directed, but they're light on the surface, but very deep. When you get to the end of it, you're like, oh, that was very emotional. Whereas this is like, it has that same vibe where it's like, we're going to be playful and fun, but it is a messed up story. And I think I just wasn't ready for that juxtaposition of style and content.
I didn't know what I was getting into with it, where Taika Waititi and this Hitler imaginary friend, like that was all that I knew. And I feel like watching it was way less comedic than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like the drama worked really well. And when there's moments that hit, like there's a moment I don't want to spoil that happens, and like it hit me so hard in a way that I don't think a movie ever has, because I really didn't see it coming, and it felt earned without me realizing something was being earned while I'm watching the movie. And it distracted me for the rest of the movie, because I was like, I feel so fucked up right now that it's hard to kind of like take in the rest of the things that's happening. I'm like, and that's fucking good movie making.
Being like as vague as possible. Are you talking about the shoes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, go ahead. Sorry, Kevin.
I was just gonna say that setup was one of the best setups that I've ever seen in the movie, where they introduce this idea of like, oh, this shot is connected to this person, and then you see it again later. Well, you see it multiple times, and then you see it the final time, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I guess based
crying.
based on the trailer, I just thought it was going to be a lot more comical and lighthearted than it was. But I mean, pretty off the bat, like it takes a turn where it gets pretty intense, and I just felt like, and this is no disrespect to Taika Waititi, I love his humor. I just feel like his humor as Hitler didn't work that well in this, and started to annoy me after a while, because I started to I just wanted to see the relationship with the kid and the girl. And then he kept coming in. And I was like, this is just, I understand why you're here, because this is to show the kid's emotional state from being indoctrinated as a Hitler youth, then to finally becoming his own person and seeing the world for what it is, as opposed to like what he's been told it is. But I just felt like, man, it's a dark movie, and it's very intense, as Tim's talking about. I was just not ready for that when I watched it.
Yeah.
It's funny because with what you're saying, I kind of feel the opposite way, that the reason I enjoyed it as much as I did is I thought that there wasn't that much Taika. And I thought that I expected there to be a lot more. So like when he was there, it kind of felt like a nice, like I needed it. And it was just like, I'm happy there wasn't more than there was, because I feel like it was used sparingly enough to like really like add to everything. And that's all added on top of going into this just thinking like, oh, Hitler's your imaginary friend, like that, and it's Taika Waititi, like this is what the movie's going to be. Like there's the whole crux of what this movie actually is. I feel like I didn't even know. Like there's an element that I don't even want to spoil here of just like of another character where you're just like, I didn't know they were part of this. And like it's really cool, because I think that it tells a very simple story, but it tells it very effectively, and I definitely recommend it to people. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about here?
Can I chime in on what I've been watching?
Yeah, go for it.
It's actually what I was talking about last week, where I'm still rewatching Ozark. Holy shit, guys. This show is probably my favorite drama. It is so serious, so tense. The acting is so good. The character choices they make are not enjoyable, but it makes really, really good television. Like all the decisions that they're making, and I'm about to finish the second season, and I'm so excited that I'm about to watch a third season that I've never seen before. So yeah, that's it.
So I did the opposite, where the show was way too stressful for me after the first season, so I never watched the second season. But then my wife was watching the third season, and I made the mistake of sitting down and eating lunch during the first episode. And now I've watched 6 episodes in season 3, and I'm all in. The show Kevin is totally right. The show is fucking great, but it is so stressful. They do such a good job at the character dynamics and taking characters and pitting them against each other for reasons where you see both sides. Like it's really good storytelling, but it's stressful. Like I can't watch more than like 1 or 2 episodes a day without needing to just take a break and like watch something like silly on Netflix or on YouTube.
They're also each episode is I think like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And like it's because it's made by Netflix, I feel like they've thrown out the normal setup where at the end of the episode it ends on a cliffhanger. So you get a lot of episodes that kind of have the cliffhanger moment in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
And by the end of the episode there's a resolution, and kind of like the world keeps going, and it's just like, oh my god, this is such a good show. Highly recommend.
Tim, are you familiar with what Ozark is about?
Yeah, Gia watches it all, and I've seen it. I've side watched most of it. Yeah, it's very stressful. That's stressful. I'm sure. Joey, what's one thing that you've been watching this week?
I watched The Way Back with Ben Affleck and Janina Gavankar. Gia and I took over the theater room the other day and watched it. I know that I've seen the trailer for it, but I didn't remember anything. Had no idea that it was like a sports-based movie. So spoilers, it is.
He's a basketball coach, right?
Yeah, he's like a former like star basketball player who gets called in to coach his old high school's team, and they're like really bad and stuff like that. And he is like in a really bad place. Like one of the opening scenes when he gets approached for the job is like him trying to coach himself through like how he's going to turn it down. And it's shots of him talking to himself and doing it, but like continually going to get beers. And you just kind of see him deteriorate. Super crazy. Janina plays like his wife that he's separated from. And they have a really interesting dynamic, and kind of the B storyline of like how they both got to where they are now from where they were. I thought it was really good. It's really good performances. It's like a pretty heavy movie. It does have some like lighthearted parts when they like kind of go and do like some of the basketball stuff, but it's really about his journey and him processing through like just life traumatic events kind of stuff. It's really good.
It's kind of, and I don't want to say it's like loosely autobiographical, right? Because Ben Affleck himself went through a lot of those substance abuse problems and like a divorce and all that stuff. And granted, he never lost his basketball career, but I feel like this might have been one that kind of hit home for him.
Yeah, on that level, like the like catalyst for all of that manifesting in his life is not based on a real life thing for him, I don't think.
No. I mean, like very loosely, like it's just the character mirrors a little bit of what Ben Affleck went through his own personal life about 5 years ago with divorcing from Jennifer Garner and the kids' custody things and stuff like that. It was a terrible situation for him. He banged a nanny, I think, a couple times. Who knows?
Who knows?
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Phase where it's like, is Nick just making stuff up right now because he's talking on the mic?
No, he definitely. Well, there was accusations that he was having sex.
I see.
Nick, what about you? What's the one thing?
Ozark has been the thing. That, and I've also started going back just for comfort food and watching Psych. Psych is always one of those series that I'm like, I need something just to turn my brain off and silly and just going to make me happy for a little bit. So I'm in season 4. I just rewatch Psych from season 1 all the way through to the end, and then when I need it again, I'll just restart it. So right now, I think I'm midway through season 4. I just got through the Peter Weller episode, which is great, and it was so fun because I never put 2 and 2 together, but I read a piece of trivia online that was like the writers and producers love 80s movies so much that they like purposely went out and tried to get as many old 80s actors to cameo in this, and it's so fucking true because like I just finished one with Ralph Macchio. Obviously, I finished one with Peter Weller, who played RoboCop back in the day. Such a great, fun series.
Don't they also have was it the movie where they like go into a store and it's just the store from the Gremlins?
No, the movie is he rented a basement in San Francisco and turned it into the basement from Gremlins, from the beginning of Gremlins.
Right.
Yeah. And people are like, how much money did you spend?
Yeah, they're really
creating the Gremlins.
I mean, that's cool. I like
it.
It's such a cool thing to see other people that are like, oh, you have a passion for something and you're making your job take advantage of that passion so that you can live out your dreams.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, James Roday, I think, became an executive producer on the show very early on. I think he loves 80s and 90s movies, obviously, because he has Freddie Prinze Jr. cameo on a few episodes, and Rachel Lee Cook does a full, like, 2-season arc where she's his girlfriend. It's fun to see all those actors come back and just have some fun in a TV show that, didn't have a huge budget, but had a lot of heart.
Last week, we asked you to go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to submit your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yes.
And
be specific.
Be specific. Yeah. Was the
I don't
thing.
think you needed to say be specific. Because when you
No,
say
'cause
I don't know
favorite
how
movie,
specific
like people aren't gonna say.
I really like Predator, but Terminator's good too. But I also like fucking one. You get one. Be
But I
specific.
mean,
and if I don't agree with you, you're wrong.
All right.
The Matt Bauer says, "Jingle All the Way" is my pick for best Arnold
Wow.
movie. It's
You're
easy
fucking dead
to make a badass action movie. You punch one guy, you shoot another, you yell cut, and boom, you're done. The biggest challenge in the world of cinema is to make a holiday comedy for both kids and families, and Jingle All the Way fucking nailed it. The comedy, while sometimes cheesy, is always enjoyable, and the action is fun, especially when it turns into a superhero movie at the end, which honestly, that ending was better than all of Batman v Superman.
Fair.
This might be my favorite write-in on Screencast of all time.
Joe Merton says probably Predator, not only because of all the fun catchphrases and outstanding performances, looking at you, young Shane Black, but because this is the first of the 3 great John McTiernan films, Predator, Die Hard, and The Hunt for Red October. Seriously, what a run. Then McTiernan went crazy and did some illegal wiretapping and made mostly bad movies. Oh, got it. Then he went crazy.
Yeah, he went a little crazy.
Gotcha.
He made some okay movies after that.
Marcus says my favorite Arnold movie is End of Days.
No.
That movie
Parker
sucks.
Lukenbach says my favorite Schwarzenegger movie is his physique.
You
Last
cut out
Action Hero is what I said.
when you said the
Last
movie.
Action Hero.
Oh, that's a good one.
His physique is attainable. I love that. That's his,
First of all, it's
attainable.
not. He
No,
still
it's
looks
not. He's
insane
still
in
jacked
that.
in that movie.
And the soundtrack is killer. You got AC/DC's Big Gun, Allison Changes, What the Hell Happened, Megadeth's Grammy nominated Angry Again, Queen Charge's Real World, and Def Leppard's 2 Steps Behind, all exclusive on the soundtrack. Let's see. Best Arnold movie. This comes from William Ramos, is without a doubt True Lies.
Oh,
Oh, so good.
great movie.
It has everything: comedy, great action, bathroom fight scene, and suspense. It's one of the most complete movies out there.
That's so true. If you haven't seen
True Lies
True
is
Lies,
so good.
watch it tonight. It is such a good. It's James Cameron. I mean, you can't go wrong with James Cameron directing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Arnold. Come on, Jamie Lee Curtis, fantastic.
Those
And
are
then
great
Eat My
ones,
Balls writes in for the final one, says best Arnold movie is and forever will be. Jingle all the way. You get such lines like Jamie and he's got two. It's got Sinbad and The Big Show. It's dumb, funny, and an all-time Christmas classic. The kid is a great actor too. I don't know if he's been in anything else though. Thanks. And Greg sucks.
It gets points for having Sinbad for sure.
That's fair.
What for next week? I really like this topic. I feel like we should keep this going. What's your
Cool.
favorite? And then actor. Do you want to throw an actor out there?
Oh, I mean, like the
We
reason
should
I threw
do
out
favorite
Schwarzenegger.
rock movies just for Nick.
Yeah, I like that. Favorite
Rock movies?
The Rock movies. Be specific.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, go to patreon.com/kindoffunny.
I hate you
Give us your
all.
favorite Rock movies. Be specific, please.
I was gonna say Jim Carrey because I just watched Ace Ventura again, and I can't believe how fun that movie still is. It still holds up to this day. But fine, The Rock. Whoa, I really like that one where he's fucking going down to Mexico to fight Christopher Walken because it's probably his best movie, even though it was like his first movie. Wait, was that my opinion?
Until next time, we'll see you at home watching movies.